Now, another great way to enjoy summer is ice cream, and that's what we're making in today's Daily Dish. That's right. Julie Miguel is making an easy and delicious no-churn ice cream. So here is what you will need. Some sweetened condensed milk, vanilla extract, salt, rum, dulce de leche, and heavy cream. Okay, this sounds great. What beats the heat better than ice cream? Julie, I am so excited for this.
I am so excited that I get to make ice cream on TV. I've done so many recipes for you guys that are savory, so I'm so excited to be doing a dessert today.
Okay, so ice cream is really all about the texture and the creaminess, and you say that skipping the custard base of traditional ice cream doesn't mean we're going to lose that creamy goodness, right?
Yes, so I absolutely love making my own ice cream, but it is a little bit tricky. It involves a cooking technique where you actually have to cook and make a custard. And then it also requires an ice cream churner. So it's a little bit tricky, but today I'm actually going to be making a no-churn ice cream recipe. What is required for a no-churn ice cream and how it works is it uses a sweetened condensed milk as a base. And the great thing about sweetened condensed milk is it has a high sugar content and a low water content. So the high sugar content actually brings down the freezing point, which means your ice cream won't get hard. And then the low water content actually prevents ice crystals from forming in your ice cream. So it also adds to this beautiful, luxurious, creamy texture.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Where do we start?
You're going to get a big bowl and you're going to add the sweetened condensed milk to the bowl. Next up is the dulce de leche. And dulce de leche happens to be sweetened condensed milk that's been cooked down, and it turns into this luxurious caramel-like spread. So we're adding that in there as well. And then we're going to add an ounce of rum.
I'm right with you so far. Keep going.
I knew you'd like that. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract or vanilla bean paste. So add that in there. And then a pinch of salt, and that's going to just balance out the sweetness. So now take your whisk, and you're going to whisk all of the ingredients together until like no streaks remain. Next, the next step is you're going to go to your grocery store when you're shopping for this, and you're going to buy 35% whipping cream, and you need 2 cups of it. And what you're going to do is you're going to use either your stand mixer or an egg beater until it formed stiff peaks like so. So I'm going to add that to my sweetened condensed milk mixture, and I'm going to fold it in until, again, no streaks remain. And you're going to fold it in using a spatula. And I love, like, you saw what I put in here. It was like 6 ingredients. That's why I love making my own ice cream, because when you go to the store and you buy ice cream, there's typically like a million ingredients in there, right? And this no-churn ice cream, at least you know what's going in your ice cream. So I love making my own ice cream for that reason. Okay, so that's just about done. You can see that.
Yep.
Now get a loaf pan, which I actually put my loaf pan in the freezer before I start this process, just so it gets like nice and cold. So take it out of the freezer, and then using your spatula, you're going to pour in the mixture, get it all in there. And then you're going to use your spatula to, just get rid of that. You're going to use your spatula just to smooth it out a little bit on the top. And then you're going to cover it, that in here. You're going to cover it with a layer of wax paper, and then a layer of foil paper.
And why do you want to use those 2 things, the wax paper and the foil?
Okay, so good question. So I love making this in a loaf pan because it actually makes it easier to scoop out and serve. So that's why I make it in a loaf pan. But traditionally, loaf pans don't come with a lid. And anything that you're freezing, you want to make sure that it has a good airtight seal as best as you can get, right? So the wax paper actually prevents air from getting in, and then the foil paper holds that wax paper in place.
Now, how long do you freeze it for?
So you're going to freeze this for 5 hours. And if you want to add any mix-ins, the best thing to do is you're going to freeze it. So do as I did. You're going to freeze it. After 2 hours, you're going to remove it from the freezer, and you're going to add in your mix-ins. You're going to take a spoon and you're going to swirl in caramel. You're going to swirl in chocolate chunks, nuts, a shredded coconut, whatever you like. And then you're going to freeze it for the remainder of the 5 hours.
Okay, and I think that you've got some already done that you can scoop up and plate for us, Julie.
So look how creamy this is, Tracy.
Wow.
Can you see that?
Yeah, it looks amazing.
I'm going to put it in a bowl.
Now, I
Very
doubt there's going to be
frozen,
any leftovers, but if there are, you've got some tips on storing that you can give us while you plate that up. How do we store it?
So to store it, what I do is I take it out of the loaf pan and I scoop it into an airtight container. So just like a container you have in your cupboard. And then I freeze it for up to a week. It's good and creamy for about a week. My favorite topping for this particular flavor is a fleur de sel because it balances out. This is a very sweet ice cream, so it balances out the sweetness of this ice cream. So a little bit of fleur de sel, and then I just get a nice mint leaf if you're serving it to guests, and just like so.
Looks fabulous, Julie. Thank you so much for that. And the recipe is, of course, on our website, cityline.tv. And if you want another no-churn ice cream option, head over to Cityline's Instagram for Julie's amaretto and cherry semifreddo.